money is going digital, and it will become an essential service during this extended economic collapse. With the digital IDs coming out, it will become easier to transfer funds. What is shown here is domestic payments. However, what we are looking at, as shown by the IMF directly here, is about cross-border payments. Yes, right now, citizens are being given the ability to transfer instantly domestically. Then, they are going to give the same ability to do in cross-border payments as well. And it is really getting attention everywhere. The importance of this transformation to the cross-border payments is increasing. Now, in the cross-border payments, the entire area is going to push towards new era, and that push may end up with RippleNet and XRP. Now, when that happens, the entire area of finance is moving from the traditional manner to the new era. When we say new era, do understand that new era is something like this. The investments are going digital too, and it's moving towards digital currencies. The developers understand the importance, and that's why they are coming out with this ability of smart contracts. So in the back end settlement, in that process, this would help those institutions to do that way effectively. If you look back at one of the interview with DTCC chief, at that time she was clearly highlighting was like $1.6 quadrillion of settlement happening, the back end processing, and the friction, if they can reduce during that settlement using any kind of technology, it would be beneficial for them. Now, this is one side beneficial for them, and automatically on the other side beneficial for the XRP holders. Now, they don't directly think about you and me, but they do think about themselves. Why? Because they are the giant holders of XRP. So if they want a 4-digit dollar XRP, that's okay, because for them, they are going to reap a lot of profit. But at the same time, we will be able to get those breadcrumbs because we were in this market providing the liquidity from the beginning. And we supported the growth of the on-demand liquidity platform in one way. Now, they are talking about beyond the proof of work. If you remember, it came out last October. Now, with all being connected to this one, you have to understand, as they highlight about this, they are moving into places. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you would like to extend your support, you can use PayPal, Patreon, or the XRP wallet address. Now, remember, the Patreon will allow you to gain more access to more value for your portfolio. So if you would like to get more of that, it would be beneficial for you. Now, why is it really necessary to look at the charts? Because sometimes it really gives you a lot of information about what is going to happen in the near future, at least the probabilities of what is going to happen in the near future. And I do share with my Patreon guys all of these. Now, it's not about just XRP, BTC, Ether in Patreon, because it depends completely upon your portfolio. If you have a wide variety of assets, just let me know. I'll give you the details for all of the different assets. Now, if you want short time, long time, medium, every different charts would be created, and the possibilities, odds of the market movement can be understood to an extent. Now, looking at this chart of Bitcoin towards USD, you can see that the MACD is correctly aligning with the movement of price. It looks okay, but the strength index, the RSI, is showing a bit of divergence again. Now remember, last time when the price was heading to the upside, RSI and MACD both were showing a bit of bearish divergence, and then the price broke to the upside. So that's like double bullish. So even if there is a bit of divergence here, it should only be a correction, because the price moved from this bottom. If you are calculating, the price moved like 20%. So even if you get 30-50% of that correction, you would be ending up somewhere around 14,500, 14,600, and that's a healthy market. right? Usually that's how it works. So if you are someone looking to buy the dip moment, it should be a perfect area to buy. Now, if you are looking at the entire market and then thinking, is it a good area? You can see this area was previous resistance. So if you extend that here, you can see that we are still way above that. So even if the correction is coming back towards 14K and then bouncing, for me, I think, yeah, that's a good area to buy. If you remember previously, I told you guys, like, if the price is not breaking above 14K, I'm not in. And if it does, yeah, I'm okay to wait outside watching the price level, because I took the profit around 14K and I bought it around 8.9, this area, just below 9,000 day for that particular trade. Because first I started here, then I took my profit here, then I started next one here as the price was about to cross the moving average, and then I took it here. Now I'm waiting for a bounce. Now it's not completely sure that whether the price will come back towards day and bounce, so I'll be putting a couple of orders at different price levels in between here. So even if it dips when I'm sleeping, I won't miss that opportunity. Now, this is chain link. If you look at that, it is clear that we were having this particular area as a resistance. Then it is now acting as a support. So look at the price targets. It would be around 16 to 20 as we move to the upside, because we didn't go way back below. Now, we were highlighting the same way back in the Patreon, giving them the idea of what is happening. And if you look at this one, it clearly shows that Ethereum is moving right into that resistance now. And once it moves above 450, the aim should be around 480, the previous high, which we put back in September. So once we are able to manage that area, say we cross above that area, move towards 500, it should probably take the price way higher, $700, $800. Now look at XRP on a 4-hour chart, and then look at XRP on a longer time frame. So on this longer time frame chart of XRP, say daily one, you get to see the next target here as we crossed just above the moving average, 50-day moving average on a daily, with a bullish momentum in the RSI and the MACD. Because if you remember previously, I told you that the MACD, when it is turning to the upside, they are rounding from the positive zone, it's going to be bullish. And the same thing is happening. So next should be 0.32, and then the break of that level should take us towards 0.5. Now, yeah, the resistance continues till 0.7, and the overhead resistance, the level of that reduces as we go to the upside from 0.5. So that has to be considered. But recently, as the pump took us a little bit higher, it's not much, but still there was a little bit of pump. We should be looking at a correction, because XRP is an asset. It kind of retraces 70 to 80%, whereas others retrace 30-40. Now, if you're looking at that as a negative perspective, it's up to you, but it is an opportunity for those who missed to buy that moment to enter back into that one. So that is clear in the technicals. Now, if you look at the detailed side of the fundamentals, you can explain it something like this. WhatsApp bringing this one in India is actually a huge thing, because majority of them uses this service, WhatsApp. So the ability to transfer money just using their cell phone, using their messaging service, is going to be transformational. Because right now, you can say different platforms like Paytm and others dominating that market. But if WhatsApp is coming out with that, the competition would be so huge. And remember, WhatsApp is a service offered by the Facebook. Now, Facebook is already coming out with their token Libra. It's on its works. Now, regulators are not sure about the same thing, but anyway, they are going to come out with something. And by that time, they are ensuring that a vast majority of the users are already experiencing this payment method. Now, once they are familiar with this, then they can easily back it up with Libra. And that's what they are looking at. Once they take down the market in India, they would be aiming at other markets where they have huge population using their services. Because they can cite, say, this government has approved, we are doing this service in that country, there is no issue there. Then automatically they'll roll out their next product there. And when you look at this news from Reuters, it kind of highlights the current economic downturn is the most severe in our lifetime. If you remember, guys, if you remember 3, 4, 5 months back, I played a video from Jim Rogers, if you remember, and the same was actually played around 8 or 9 months back too, but a different interview of the same guy, Jim Rogers. He stated clearly that next crisis, in whatever name it comes, whether economic crisis, health crisis turned into an economic crisis or whatever it is, it's going to be the deepest recession we will ever see. Because, he is like 70, 80 years old. I don't exactly know his age. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but he's really old and experienced guy. So he understands what he's stating, and he was clearly stating this is going to come. And those who were prepared from that time, say the value of silver, gold, or if you look at digital assets, there was a huge opportunity in between. We went deep like 0.12 and majority were selling. Majority were running out of the market. But the brilliant guys, the smart money, saw the value, they put in their value there. So those who bought at 0.1, 0.12, 0.13, they kind of tripled their money when the price reached around 0.34, 35, right? So that did happen. And majority took their profit there. Why? Because they already received 200% profit. So that's cool for them. Now, they would be buying it back when the price is dipping around 0.23, 24, and it is now around 0.26. That means they already came back in, bought the dip. Now, what is the importance of digital ID platforms? You already know that PayID is an initiative from Ripple. And yeah, there is a similar named item from Australia too, but everything is walking towards this digital ID. Why? Because when you have this digital ID, it would be easy for financial institutions to use or leverage that to give you that ability to use their services of payments and say to the regulators, you see, we are abiding by the regulations. So that is another step towards using that, and that services, when it comes to cross-border payments, it's going to be a lot helpful. If that service is offered by a domestic company, that's limited. If it is offered by an international company, it's going to be valid. Say if two nations are coming together and saying, yeah, we agree with that one, our regulators will approve that item, it's going to be cool. Both countries can leverage that for the digital payments. Now, why I say digital payments? Because the trend in cross-border payment is changing from the bottom to the top, and as it is changing, you have to understand the talk in the atmosphere is changing. This from Bank of Russia clearly highlights central bank governors discuss pandemic's effect and digital currency issues. So when you come down and read through this, you understand what are they actually looking at mainly. Electronic settlement technologies. So it is being affected, and that they really don't want it because the e-commerce, it's expanding now. If they are letting this happen, the globalization would not actually complete. It would be the opposite, right? Now they are looking at the central bank digital currency, but at the same time, they are all looking at how it will affect their monetary policy, because they don't want to destabilize the economy. They want to control their monetary policies as much as they can. So keeping that idea in mind, you should also understand majority of the central banks around the world are going for this technology. And when they are going for this technology, Ripple is presenting them an intermediary. They need to communicate in between. The money has to be transferred, and that is where Ripple is sharpening their focus. Now, if you look at this, Ripple is sharpening focus on dynamic payment across Europe and Southeast Asia, expanding XRP investment and development arm. So if you clearly understand this, the previous report from Ripple highlighted that they are buying XRP in the market. So that kind of gives you an understanding that the FUD related to jet selling is not an issue, because here it clearly highlights Ripple buys 46 million XRP this quarter. So if you are saying no, the supply is too much, it's not going to work, it won't actually work in that manner. You have to understand that. So Ripple is opening job positions. They are expanding. They are recruiting. The company is expanding in a way that they are going to reach different geographical area with different products. They are trying to get this market globally, right? So as we saw, the central banks are already working on that one, and Ripple is targeting them. The banks and financial institutions around the world need that regulatory clarity to jump in, because they are all worried about something like this. US Marshals kind of put this one out. US Department of Justice has announced the seizure of virtual currency worth around $24 million on behalf of the Brazilian government as a part of an investigation into large-scale fraud scheme. So you have to understand, this is not a small amount, and it is happening. So cryptocurrency trade fraud is still running. So what you need is proper regulation to kick this one out. If governments are able to do that, then the utility perspective is going to come in, and that is the reason why the central banks and regulators are more and more interested in this right now. Because say if you look at Bitcoin, there would be hundreds and millions of transactions happening, and they can't do anything unless they go and catch the endpoints. They can't do anything. If the currency is being traded within cryptosphere, not coming out into a fiat, they can't do anything to it, and they are all worried. Now if you look at Ripple, it's different. It is connecting financial institutions, regulated financial institutions, so there is nothing to worry for the governments. Now if you stand for the libertarian perspective, it's completely up to you, but at least for now, the governments are not going to go anyway. The banks, chances are central banks may kind of put them into a corner, but still they will fight back. They won't give up what they took from the human beings around last long time, 2-3 centuries. So with that, look at this. XRP is ensuring the benefits of Internet of Value to low-income groups in small value transfers. We understood that Ripple is focusing on low value payments, which is highly frequent, right? If you look for the remittance, it's huge. If you look at the e-commerce, it's huge. So the low value payments, the frequency is so high, and now they are targeting a big part of the world, 55 countries and 90 currencies. So that's not actually a small thing. So if you look at the perspective of Internet of Value, we have previously highlighted the same. This is working towards creating an infrastructure on which they can use small value transfers easily with a little bit of fee and providing them the best quality. And now the expansion in the digital asset space is not only stopping with a Ripple, it's going global. If you look at Fidelity, they are also hiring. They are looking to expand in different areas. They are also providing different products. So if you are saying, like say previously, if you were looking the market around 1 year, 2 year back, they were still saying no, the market is kind of completely fraud and the market is going to go down. Bitcoin, I heard one guy stating Bitcoin is going to 0, 0, 0. You heard it here first. So if you look at the price of Bitcoin from that point onwards, it was around 3,000, 3,500, and right now it's around 15,000. So you can understand they were talking down the market at least and then buying at the bottom. So if you are falling for that kind of thing, you may lose your profit. Instead, if you look at the market and see the opportunity, then it's easy for you to take that profit. For that, you have to understand the language of technical analysis, because if you have that ability to understand that, it's going to be better. Because if you can combine that with the fundamentals, see this one is kind of, there is already a trade war issue with US, China going on, and right now it's happening between China and Australia. So if this continues, the West, they are going to fight with the rising giant of China. So always, all the time, you kind of have that. And China doesn't always wage war directly in terms of, using bullets, missiles and all. If you read the book from a Chinese author, like The Art of War, it's not only just that. They can use all the different swords. They don't have, that kind of issue of going to war just using missiles. They'll do whatever they can without that first. And that is happening around the globe right now. So if anyone is looking at all of this, I would like to highlight this tweet too. Now, it doesn't mean I'm providing, conspiracy here. Instead, I just want to show you guys what is happening. Now, if you would like to go through it, you can. Otherwise, you can just neglect it if you're happy taking that one. Now, that's completely up to you, right? So, as we speak of XRP on a shorter time frame and a longer time frame, if you look at the MACD on a daily, you can see that it is crossing to the upside. So, usually, if you look at the chart, when it is crossing to the upside, yes, you are getting a little bit of pump, but it kind of trend to the upside from that point. If you measure that in the history, you will understand that these targets are not that too high. If you just zoom out, go into a 3-day chart or weekly chart, you can understand that we are still in the positive region on the longer time frame. In MACD, we are trending upside. RSI is moving to the upside, so this particular area, say 54, is a resistance. If you look all around, if you would like to get a clear view on that, I'll just put a horizontal line here, and now you can see it was acting as a resistance, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So as we break about this level, the price should show that strength of green bullish candle to the upside. Now that's on a 3-day chart, so you shouldn't be looking at the same on a 4-hour or a hourly chart and say no, I didn't actually get that. Because if you look at this one on the weekly, it definitely looks like a bearish checkmate. So it should be going to the upside from here. The bears tried to push the price to the downside and it kind of halted there. Now the bulls are defending that line and it should push the price towards this level back up, testing this resistance and then pumping through that towards 0.5. Why? Because the MACD crossed to the downside, but instantly it is reversing to the upside with the RSI turning to the upside. So that's actually a bullish positive news. I hope you guys received value for your time, and if you did, please do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.